This is about new catfish regulations that would cost taxpayers more money and impose compliance costs on small businesses that raise and sell catfish across the country. Specific subject matter: at least one conservative member of Congress wants to roll back all these regulations. And John Hines has more from Washington.
It may be a small step in fighting the deficit, but Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler thinks she could easily save taxpayers $15 million a year and small businesses much more in compliance costs by making sure the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, regulates catfish instead of the Department of Agriculture, or USDA.
If they move the inspection program of catfish over to the USDA, it will cause every seafood processing plant in the country to retrofit their entire operations to have two separate lines, one for all other seafood and one just for catfish. It will require them to have an office for an inspector of not just the FDA inspector, but also the USDA inspector. And all of this is estimated to cost about $30 million.
Moreover, USDA would have to hire about 90 more employees at an additional annual cost of some $15 million, whereas the FDA could do all this for about $700,000, says Hartzler. And Hartzler says the new regulations are impractical.
The USDA requires, as part of their new regulation, that they have to notify and give the inspection calendar to the USDA 10 days in advance. Well, typically restaurants don't put in their orders for catfish till 24 hours in advance, so it's unworkable.
Hartzler is not alone in saying new catfish regulations are wasting money, says Neil Seifring of FreedomWorks, a free market advocacy group.
And the Government Accountability Office has determined in 10 different studies that this is a wasteful program that duplicates work that the government's doing. And it may sound odd to think that catfish is a major issue in the halls of Congress, but it has indeed become one.
Then, too, Seifring says there's something fishy at work here.
There's no need to have the federal government involved in this, and there's some crony capitalism at work, too. The prime sponsor of this initiative was Senator Thad Cochran, who's trying to protect certain catfish constituencies within his state and throughout the South.
The Senate has passed a measure to roll back this regulatory regime. A similar bill is now pending in the House. John Hines, One America News, Washington.